Alright guys, welcome back to another Big Iris production video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the IMORDEN S-40A aluminum gimbal handheld stabilizer, what have you. Here it is. We're going to actually teach you and go over how to stabilize your camera on this device here. So this is it, comes in a little bag, really compact. What you do is just go ahead and extend it out. This. And I like to come all the way down and then bring it up just a hair for what I'm doing. And now today we're going to be stabilizing the Sony a6300 camera along with a Rokinon 10mm, what is this, 2.8. So I've already got my gimbal mounting plate, whatever you want to call it. The mounting plate's on here. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the stabilizer. And to do that, we just screw this little screw on the side here. And ta-da, it's on there. And as you can tell, it's totally not balanced. So we're going to figure out how we can balance this so you can get some awesome looking footage. Now the first thing you'll notice is, if you look at it, we're front heavy, meaning the lens is obviously way off, so we're going to have to slide the camera back. So what we're going to do, there's a couple different methods you can do in order to do this. You can slide the whole camera with the mounting plate backwards. As you can see here, you've got lines on the side here that you can line up to kind of adjust that and make fine-tune adjustments. We're going to bring it back. We'll just test it right here, see what we have. Yep, still a little front heavy. So we can do that, or we can move the actual physical plate of the camera as it sits on the camera. So if we were to take this off, we can pop the whole thing off, set this down, and we can slide this plate forward or backwards. In this case, we're going to want to move it backwards in order to make room for or allow it to balance itself correctly. Alright guys, so we went ahead and moved the plate forwards. Without you guys seeing, there's just a screw on the bottom. You just can loosen that a little bit, move it forward or backward as you need. Now we're going to take our gimbal stabilizer here, and we'll put our camera back on it. Get this on here. Alright, let's screw this back on. And I'm just feeling it in my hands here, just kind of to where it feels like it's centered. Go ahead and tighten that. That's pretty close, we're getting there, but we want it to be up and down, right? So, move it back a little bit. Looks like we're at the number 2 marker, so we'll just kind of remember that. We'll move it forward. And it looks good from there. Now, I will admit, I've already tried stabilizing this, so I know that this is basically exactly where it needs to be for me. So, but if you guys were to pull it out and you're going to have your own camera, you're not going to be sure exactly where everything needs to be. So let's pretend like we have a brand new camera set up down here. I'll go ahead and mess up a few of these settings. If you take a look at this lock here on this side, we unscrew that. This allows us to move it back and forth like this. And what that does is sometimes with bigger cameras, especially DSLR cameras, your battery or your hand grip is going to be a lot bigger, and so the camera might actually lean to one side, because if you look, the lens is not actually centered on the body of the camera. So your system might actually lean to one side or the other. So we can slide this back and forth in order to balance the stabilizer like this on this axis. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of go ahead and feel it until it seems about right. Go ahead and tighten that for a second. Just feel, looks like we're a little off. We're still at a little bit of an angle here. So it's leaning too far this way, so we're going to move the camera back this way. Oops, too much. Let's try it. Now we're leaning the opposite direction, so we went too far. Still too much. I think I went the wrong way. Come back this way a little bit. And that's just about right. And if you'll notice, as I'm making these fine-tune adjustments, I'm not actually tightening and loosening the screws as much as they'll go. I'm just kind of barely tapping it. So you can do that. One of the nice things about this particular system is that with the plate on here, even if it's loose, it's not going to fall off. They've got a kind of a fail-safe system on here, so which is pretty handy. So you don't have to worry about your camera falling off your system. Now I think I just messed that up again. Looks like we're a little front heavy, right? And sometimes you might actually want it to either kind of tilt up or tilt down just slightly, but typically you're just going to want it to be straight up and down. So, all right, so that looks about right on this axis. That's about where I want it. Let's turn it this direction. Are we leaning too far to the left or right side? Let's see. So we're leaning a little bit this way. We can probably move the camera system a little bit more this way. That's this knob on the back here. Good. So that's about right for us, what we want to do here. Now something you'll want to note that this system is rated up to 3 pounds. So you don't want to put on a camera on it that's heavier than 3 pounds, including the lens here. So this is about 2.5 pounds, just to give you kind of an idea of the size and the weight of this. So next we're going to move on to our next axis to stabilize. One way you can tell whether your stabilizer is balanced or not is to move it forward and backward kind of in a fast pace. Now if you'll notice here, when I push it forward, move it back, the bottom is kind of staying in place and the top is rocking like this. That's not what you want. You want to make sure that both are equally weighted and that when you push it forward, the whole thing moves forward and backwards together. And that allows you to reduce rocking. So when you move back, your stabilizer's not swinging like this. So something we can do to adjust that is we can move our legs up and down first to start with here. So I'll loosen this, move these up just a little bit, and see how that helps us. It's a little better. Let's try this again. A little more. So that's looking pretty good right there. So now we can, we know if we were to move the whole system around, that it'll come back to level. Right, so it's not perfect, but for the sake of the video, it's looking pretty good. One other thing you can do to stabilize these axes are to move these weights on the bottom. Now they provide you with 2 heavy weights on both sides, but if you loosen them, you can actually move them forward or backwards. So that actually helps out quite a bit. I like to keep these on the outer ends, and that allows it to be a little more difficult when you're trying to twist, which can kind of also produce a smoother left and right axis for when you're moving around. Because when the weight's on the outer ends, it's going to be harder to move. So let's take a look. As you can see, it threw off our whole system again. So looks like we are front heavy. So something we can do is just take these weights, move it a little bit back here. And you can also take off these weights too. So if you don't want all of them on there, or if you're using a really light camera, such as a GoPro, you can use just 1 or 2 weights, or no weights if you think that would work for you. So anyway, so here we are. We've got our camera system We're nice and stabilized. Looks like maybe we're off just a, yeah, we're off just a hair on this axis again. Move it over. Oh, too much. So you can see, you just have to play with it quite a bit in order to fine tweak it and get it to work to where you need it for your camera. So not every camera is the same, but the principle is the same. When you move it to the side, you can move it forward and back like this. I can walk around and it stays basically in the same place. And then one of the tricks to getting smooth footage is to, while you're recording, is to kind of hold the tip here. You can rest, what I like to do is rest the palm of my hand kind of on my other hand, and then just use two of my fingers to move the system back and forth. It doesn't take a lot of effort, it's really quite easy, but it allows you to get some good shots and to be able to move back and forth. Alright guys, well that about sums it up. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I try and respond as fast as I can. Big thanks to IMORDEN for sending us out this stabilizer. We really appreciate it, and we actually really like it a lot. It's actually for the price. Right now it's only $89 on Amazon. You can check out the links in the description so you can easily find it. It's the 40A aluminum model. We appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We do a lot of different types of videos, and we want to be able to do more. So if you want to see something in the future, go ahead and leave a comment with what you'd like us to do. Sometimes we'll do giveaways and other such fun activities. So go ahead and check us out, and we'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, watch me transform. Yeah, okay. Even a dumb redneck can use this thing. Look at this. It's like, I don't know.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.